Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to your football predictions for game week 37. The season is coming to a close. I can't believe we've done this 37 weeks straight. So if you have enjoyed the series, be sure to like and subscribe. But those were my predictions up there for game week 36. Huge week, so many games. And I got one correct score. So, not too good from me. As always, loads of you guys got involved in the last video down in the comments. So, we'll put a whole load of them on screen now. Be sure to get your predictions down in the comments for game week 37. But as always, we will go through the games now. So, it's a strange weekend of football because there is no games on Saturday. No Premier League games on Saturday. We do have the FA Cup final on Saturday at 5:45. A very strange time to have the FA Cup final on, but anyway, that's what time that's on, and we will predict that quickly. It is between Chelsea and Liverpool. I think it could be close, you know. I think it's going to be a tight game. Chelsea, really, in terms of what they've got left to play for this season, they've got the Champions League for next year. It's FA Cup time, it's get a trophy time, so I think they will be on it. Liverpool still technically in for the quadruple. The league is going to be tough now with Man City pulling ahead. Still have the Champions League to think about. But on paper, I just think Liverpool are the better side, so I'm going to back them. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool in full time. So let me know your FA Cup final prediction down in the comments as well. Right then, so on the Sunday at 12 o'clock on BT Sport, we have got Spurs taking on Burnley. Spurs sitting in 5th place are now just 1 point off Arsenal, 1 point off 4th, 1 point off a Champions League spot. That is after they beat Arsenal last night. Obviously, Rob Holding getting himself sent off didn't really help. But again, Kane scoring. Son went off quite unhappy at the end of that game because he is on for the Golden Boot this season. Wasn't too happy with Conte taking him off. But yeah, the points are huge for Spurs at the minute. But they're taking on a side, Burnley, 17th place. They are ahead just about of the relegation zone on goal difference. Still everything to play for. And they've got 3 games to go. They do have a game in hand over Leeds, who are behind them. I've backed Spurs. Again, I think Burnley have got a lot to play for, but Spurs have picked themselves up, and I think they've put themselves in a very good position now, so I've backed them to win this one 3-1. Next up at 2 o'clock, we've got Leeds taking on Brighton. So Leeds are a side that I've just mentioned, sitting in 18th place, just inside that relegation zone on goal difference only. But it isn't looking good for them right now. As I mentioned, they are a game behind both Burnley and Everton. But they can still do it. They can still get out of that relegation zone. But taking on a Brighton side who are having a very strong finish to the season, winning 4 of the last 6 games. They beat Wolves 3-0. They beat Manchester United 4-0. Can Leeds pick up 3 points here? I mean, they're at home and they have to go and win. You know, as much as Brighton are finishing strong, Leeds have still got a decent side. They just need to go out and pull themselves together. I've backed them to a draw. I've gone 1-1. Will that point help in the end? We don't know, but it may well do. Next up at 2 o'clock, we've got Watford taking on Leicester. So it is game over for Watford this season. Have had terrible form of late. In fairness, did get a draw against Everton in the last game, 0-0. I think that's the first point they've picked up in the last 6 or 7 games. Taking on a Leicester side who are in 10th. So they are in the top 10, fighting for that top 10 finish. Vardy came back, scored a few goals against Norwich in the last game. Taking on Watford, I have backed Leicester to win 2-0. Again at 2 o'clock on the Sunday, but this one is on TV. It's on Sky. We have got West Ham taking on Manchester City. So West Ham currently sitting in 7th place. They're looking kind of nailed on for that Europa League conference spot at the moment, but they are still in a shout of getting that 6th place spot and getting into the Europa League. They're 3 points behind Manchester United, but again, taking on Manchester City will be no easy feat. Man City are now looking nailed on for the league, are now 3 points ahead of Liverpool. And again, you know, look at the last few games. De Bruyne scoring 4 goals in the last game. I think he's the 3rd or 4th midfielder to ever do that in the Premier League, which is just nuts. So I have backed Man City 2-1. And the final 2 o'clock game on Sunday is Wolves taking on Norwich. So we'll start with Norwich, currently in 20th place. they are relegated this season. Lost the last 5 games, taking on a Wolves side who have got the same form as Norwich. Wolves were in a chance of Europa League. They clearly didn't want it. Have lost 5 of the last 7 games. They've won 1, drawn 1. I've still backed Wolves to win 1-0, but again, it's been crazy this season. You look at West Ham's form has been off. Spurs and Arsenal have been up and down, and as I say, Wolves clearly didn't fancy playing in Europe next season. 4:30 on the Sunday on Sky, we have got Everton taking on Brentford. So Everton currently sitting in 16th place, 2 points ahead of Leeds. I think are just about dragging themselves out of that relegation drop. Not too long ago it looked very doom and gloom for Everton, but as I say, with a game in hand over Leeds as well, beating Chelsea, beating Leicester, and then drawing against Watford. They probably would have liked 3 points there as well, but it's still a point on the board. I think they've probably just about done enough, but as I say, I think it's going to go to the wire, but I think they're sitting in a good place. Taking on a Brentford side who are sitting in 13th, still just about in it for a top 10 finish this season. But again, I think for Brentford, it's finished the season strong. They've had some great results of late, considering again, they started the season so well, they were a bit mellow in the middle, and then have finished very strong. For a promoted side, to be playing the way they are, I think's great. And I have put a draw on it. I've put 1-1. It's hard to predict where Everton are right now. Are we going to have another Chelsea-Leicester game, or are we going to have the game against Watford? Whoever turns up. Or same with Brentford. Away from home. Does Ivan Toney want to turn up, or does he want to slag them off to his mates? So who knows? I've gone 1-1. On the Monday night at 8 o'clock on Sky, we have got Newcastle taking on Arsenal. So Newcastle sitting in 14th place. Were officially confirmed as mathematically safe from relegation the other night when Leeds lost against Chelsea, and are the first team ever to not win any of their opening 14 Premier League fixtures and still managed to stay in the Premier League. So it's not a bad achievement, is it? Bring on the summer and next season, because it's been a pretty tough end to the season. Losing against Liverpool, losing against Man City, and now playing Arsenal on Monday night, who have a very good record against Newcastle. And following Arsenal's loss against Spurs, they have to win. Arsenal need to go up to St James's and win. I think it's the final home game for the Geordies, and I think the players will want to go out there and do a good job. But Arsenal are still a good side, and as I say, they can make no more mistakes. I think it's still in their hands. It's still in Arsenal's hands for a top 4 finish, because they are 1 point ahead. But that means that they have to win the final 2 games. So I have backed the draw. I've gone 2-2. I will be at that game, and I want it to go out with a bang. So yeah, I think it'll be tough, but I'm backing a draw for Newcastle there. On to the Tuesday night now at 7:45 on Sky. We've got Southampton taking on Liverpool. So Southampton sitting in 15th place. I've mentioned this. I was going to say last week. I've been saying this for ages now. Again, not too long ago, they looked like they could have had an outsider chance at Europa League football, Europa League conference. Fast forward a few months and they've just had a useless end of the season. Desperate for that to end for them. Taking on Liverpool, who by this point will have played their FA Cup final. They will know, obviously, if they've got the trophy or not. And coming into this one, they will also know whether Man City won their game and where they are. They're always going to try and win their games, but at the same time, they also have the Champions League final coming, so there's going to be rotation. But even with a rotated side, I think Liverpool are very good. And again, Southampton can't buy a win. So I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool. On to the Thursday night now. So this is a double game week. If you do your fantasy football, we've got Everton, Crystal Palace, Villa, Burnley and Leicester all playing twice this week. So we'll start off with Everton versus Crystal Palace. I've already spoken about them both. Again, Everton just trying to pull the points on the board to keep away from that bottom 3. Crystal Palace, really, the season's over, but I've had a decent one. And again, I've just gone 1-1. Next up, we've got on the Thursday night at 8 o'clock, Aston Villa taking on Burnley. So again, Villa, great news about Coutinho for them. Burnley, Could need a win or could a draw be enough? Again, depending on the Leeds results. But again, it's their game in hand, and depending on what happened in their previous game against Spurs, which you wouldn't imagine they would have won, what can they do in this one? I've actually backed Villa here. I've gone 1-0, so I'm probably not giving the greatest news to Burnley if I'm right. And then again on the Thursday night at 8 o'clock, we have got Chelsea taking on Leicester. So I've not mentioned Chelsea yet because this is their first game of the week following their FA Cup game at the weekend. Again, did they win? Did they not? Either way, they are 5 points ahead of 5th place in the Premier League, so technically a draw would probably be enough to confirm their top 4 status, but they want to get it done right. Taking on a Leicester side who will have already have played a game as well. I've just gone Chelsea 2-1 in that one. So there you go. And those are my predictions up there for all of the games in Game Week 37. Be sure to get your predictions down in the comments below. I always go through them and I always try and shout out some of you guys in the next video, which will be Game Week 38 and will be the final prediction video of the season. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and you have enjoyed the videos this season. Be sure to subscribe and like if you're still watching this video now. As I say, I will be back for the final week, Game Week 38. Well, we'll probably find out who's getting a top 4 spot, who's getting relegated, and it'll be a good one as always. Alright guys, enjoy the weekend, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.